How's it going, YouTube? Coming today with another video, and today, guys, what to bring to you is going to be something that I find rather important. So today we're going to be talking about spreadsheets. I personally hate these. I think that they're really awful for the game. I feel like they're really toxic for the community, and we're going to talk about why that is. If you haven't already checked out my sponsors over on RW, Cloud, Gem, Arla, Imperium, Dragonshield, or Grimoire, definitely go ahead and do so, all down below in the description. Also, go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube channel if you haven't already. I appreciate all of you. And, this is a rather huge topic in the community, and it's something that did blow up a couple of months ago, but it's something that I really want to give my own 2 cents on because spreadsheets are truly terrible for the game. First and foremost, just don't buy the spreadsheet. This is something that I feel is not healthy at all. And, this is something that my friend said that, I do wholeheartedly agree with. Just at the beginning of this video, I want to just make sure this is very known and clear, is that the information in the game shouldn't be gatekept by a paywall. And this directly coincides with me doing a card drive, is a lot of people can't afford to play this game, let alone traveling and putting in a lot of the testing hours. This is kind of crazy to be like, okay, you're gonna pay like this much money, and sometimes it's like $40 or $50, upwards of like $100 for like these spreadsheets. And we're gonna talk about today why that is such a waste of money and other things that you realistically can do. And don't get me wrong, like, if you feel like this is going to be the way to really up your game, then sure, go ahead. But I feel like these are so negative for the game just because, like, as a content creator, right? And even watching some of the more, like, pro players go off and make these spreadsheets, it feels like the community is kind of just getting scalped to a point, right? Like, we're seeing that in Pokemon right now where, like, if you want to get product, it's going to be a hefty cost. And it's like, if you want to get the new information for your tournament, you're going to have to pay a hefty cost. And I don't like that. Let's talk about something that I feel like is really important too. That's credibility. And this is something where, I'll admit I get a lot of hate constantly. People are like, you can top regionals, but you haven't topped a YCS yet, so you shouldn't be talking about the top meta in any of your videos. You're not qualified to do so. Well, let me tell you, I know a lot of you love sports, okay? Let me put it like this. Thunder just won the NBA Finals, right? And as a person, most of us are not NBA players. We're not. But if I told you, like, a hypothetical scenario, right? That Lou Dort was leaving the team and going to, like, the Hornets, people would freak out. They'd be like, oh my god, that's massive. That's crazy. And then he'd be talking about how Lou Dort leaving the Thunder would be a huge hit to the team, the way that they get down the court, the way that they pass the ball, the way that they interact in the game. You would know that, and you're not an NBA player, right? So even me on this channel, even if I'm not an NBA star, I study and study and study and just hammer hours of Yu-Gi-Oh! And just talk to so many different players, watch so many different matches, run so many decks, and really am able to come up with solid guides for people to watch for free on YouTube. And that's something that I like to do for others because I feel like not everyone has the same amount of time. People have kids. People work long hours at work. People have other obligations in life than just constantly being on Dueling Book, right? And that is something that I am so glad that I can do for y'all. Thank you all for the support. I do what I can. And, just to shout out the guy again for winning German Nationals with Blue Eyes and then commenting and saying that the videos really did help with that progression. Another person commented, Yu-Gi-Oh! Time Wizard, thanks for your comment too. Got second at a regional. A lot of it's from the videos, from what they said. And, I've had several success stories from people that just tell me, like, hey, watching your content has been a huge up to my game, and this is amazing. And, I would like to feel like my channel really did bring in the age of Yu-Gi-Oh! Knowledge content in YouTube and meta content, because no one did this. Outside of, like, MST doing, like, damage reports and different, like, tier lists, there's not a whole lot of people that were actually talking about like the tech cards, the things that you should know, the ways that you should play, the things that are important when you go to events, the different rulings that can come up in matches and how they interact, the meta end boards, the where to hand traps. No one did these, right? And then I felt like it was important enough to really put the time in to make these videos. So it angers me when I see paywalls coming up and people are just juicing the community for them. And I think that that's just like ill-intended. I don't think that that's something that is healthy and should be gate kept, right? I think that having info out and making this game an even slate is the most important thing possible. I think that if you have a hierarchy of information and that's it, like YouTube used to be the spot. Like the YouTube comment section was the only place that you could go to talk to other players about different ideas and texts. Now, thankfully, there are YouTube videos and there's where to hand traps, there's meta end boards, there's tier lists, there's different things talking about what cards you should play in what decks, siding guides, deck building guides. These are the resources that you can use to help build your own decks and really set forth a better time in the game. And nobody likes to lose. It's gonna happen in games, it really will. But you know, the better you get off of all the information that you learn, this is gonna be something that really does help you. Not buying the $80 spreadsheet, right? And they're never gonna tell you the tech. They're not gonna do that. No one's gonna post a whole video and be like, by the way, search Fossil Dino and summon it at the end of your combo, you auto win. No one's gonna tell you that before a big tournament. That's not gonna happen. They're gonna be like, here is the most mid YouTube combo possible. This is like 3 different variations. And that's something that you can just like find, you know, like that's not something that you have to like buy, you know, like you can just find that. That's not going to be something that is out of your reach. You'll also never see the final list, right? Like they're just a guide to get you there. And that's something that you could find on YouTube. It's not necessarily going to be something that you should pay for if it's just going to be generic information about what a deck does, right? I think that that is something that is kind of heinous. If you are going to be buying like a final list, final text, and like information that you think is going to be very well kept a secret because you think that it's going to be the edge for an event, maybe, I guess, but like even then you can't trust that you're going to see the actual final list. You're not going to see the actual tech cards that are ended up used. There's going to be different ways to think about the deck, different tech cards used all the time. Testing, especially before an NAWCQ, is going to be day-to-day changes. Things will move up and down a tier list constantly until we're actually at the event, because that's when it's just go time, right? So right now, even Lunalight, people were like, oh, Lunalight's going to be a really scary deck. Now people are like, oh, it'll be okay. There's a lot of outs to that. There's so many outs to Liger Dancer, right? Like, there's a lot of things that do change. And even though it's going to be a deck that you want to respect, and it's going to be at the event, it's still not going to be the scariest because you guys have free content on YouTube to go ahead and see how to out these things that are going to be problematic. My first competitive deck ever was Fire King Cosmo. This deck was enough to give you a headache. This was so hard to learn. You could have different combinations of ships and Cosmo Town and Fire King Island and just a whole array of cards that you could draw that you just had to know what to do with that specific set of cards. One of the best videos I've ever seen was blown away was by Top Tier Yu-Gi-Oh! I probably watched this video all the way through like 25 times. When I was trying to learn these combos and get them down back when this was a thing, I spent hours just watching and going through these combos because these were so hard. These videos are out there, and it's not from your top Yu-Gi-Tubers. A lot of times, it's going to be like your small-time Yu-Gi-Tuber trying to find their start, and they will post things like this constantly. And the content is out there. It might not be from the person that you want to watch because you're like used to watching only like the top 5 tubers, but it could be from like a small channel and they do great content. Usually you can find the best content, honestly, from like smaller channels. You really can. And I think that's something that is really overlooked. But things like this was extremely helpful. And guess how much money I spent to watch this? None. It was just out on YouTube. And these are things that you can find. And this wasn't even just like all basic combos. This was like very complicated combos, right? And very well organized combos. And this is something that I think is very cool. And it is out there for most things that you're looking for. It is out there. People love certain decks to death, right? Like, people love Cosmo. People love Subterror. People love all these different kinds of decks. The content's out there. You just gotta find it. It's on YouTube. I know that was a really long rant of me just kind of talking about spreadsheets and how much I hate spreadsheets, but like, it's very true. I think that you all should have an equal opportunity to play this game and really understand at a deeper level and have access to knowledge and have your guides ready to go, have your study guides, have your hand trap slides, have all these different things for you to make your own decisions based off of what you've seen presented to you. And I wish that we would start going over to even more YouTubers that are starting to do things like this. Another YouTuber that is just starting out recently is LucasAco. It's another channel that is posting the kind of content that I would post. And, you know, I'm never going to feel a type of way about seeing more and more content creators popping up to do meta relevant content. I think that's amazing. And, you know, that's another channel that if you go there and you start finding a lot of information and you're like, this is really helpful, then subscribe. Absolutely subscribe. But stop buying these spreadsheets for like exorbitant amount of money, because a lot of times that money could be put into buying things like Parilias, Muals. It could be buying things like Dominus Impulse. This extra money could be put toward buying the better cards, and then you could just do more studying on YouTube or through different friend groups and channels, right? That you can find. There's Discords out there for every single deck. Even Facebook groups. Oh my god. If you want to find a Facebook group for Magical Musketeers, it's out there, right? Like, you can. So it's one of those things where like the basic combos are going to be there. And the people who really enjoy a deck, you should talk to those people. I really enjoy playing tier. I really enjoy playing tier. People still come to me for tier information, even though I'm not playing the deck right now, because there's still going to be a lot of theory and ideas that is not going to come from a spreadsheet that is just basic information that you can find for free anyways. So, in my opinion, stop buying these spreadsheets, because I do think that they are just not healthy for the game. I think that you are a great player in general. That goes to each and every player out there. I feel like you have the opportunity to be a great player, and you have so much of resource in front of you, and you can find it, and it's free. And, you know, that's something that I do. The card drive. I've donated over 150 decks and just thousands of cards sent out, and just for free to people who need them. And, you know, like, I do Metafy, but I feel like that's fine, because it's a one-on-one session that is dedicated toward learning something that the person that is there for the session wants to learn, and you can really break down ideas and whatnot. And, you know, if they want to pay for a coaching session, that's cool, that's great. But like a spreadsheet with just basic combos on it and a basic deck list, that just, it doesn't make sense to me. But let me know what you think down below in the comment section. If you haven't already followed my Twitch, Twitter, Discord, Instagram, or subscribed to my YouTube channel, definitely go ahead and do so, all down below in the description. I appreciate all of you, and, you know, from the bottom of my heart, I do this for you all. I really do. I wouldn't even be in the game still if it wasn't for you all. You guys make it for me every single day. And, you know, I want to, and I will end up topping a YCS. It's gonna happen. And, you know, I will end up topping a national event. It will happen. And, you know, I'm getting better every single day. And I hope that you are all getting better every day at the game. But, you know, I do put in a lot of effort, a lot of time. And you guys are here for my journey. And I appreciate that. And, you know, even if I mess up or goof in some games, you know, it's going to happen. But, you know, we minimize those mistakes in testing, and we go to big events and we try our best. And, you know, thank you for being here on the way to our, you know, success. And, you know, I appreciate seeing you at every event, and I hope to see all of you at Nationals. It's right around the corner. It's this weekend, you know. So if you see me, come say hello. I appreciate it. But I'll catch you guys all in the next video. Later.